All right, welcome everyone to Pitch Day. There are some folks still trickling in, but I will go ahead and get started. Just in the interest of time here, we have a ton of really exciting stuff to show you, so we can jump right in. Welcome to CircuitStream's Software Development Bootcamp Pitch Day. Today, we are celebrating the graduation of our software development cohort that started way back in April 2024. So the event today features several industry partners who are keen to hear from the student pitches, plus several of our recent graduates from the Software Development Bootcamp, and several of you are community members and members of the public who are keen to see the next generation of software developers, support your friends, and all that good stuff. A few things before we begin. So today's event will be approximately 2 hours. There are only our partners and presenters can go up on stage to speak. All attendees are welcome to participate in the chat. So feel free to put questions, comments, feedback, and whatever else in the chat. Throughout the pitches, we'll also be playing some embedded YouTube videos from the slides. We will be playing these at full volume on our end, but be prepared to adjust your own computer volume as we play them because it might vary video to video. Lastly, a quick reminder to our guest speakers and our presenters today, please use the moderator chat for internal communication and then the general chat for everything else. So I'm Maddie. I'm the Partnership Development Manager at CircuitStream. My primary role is to find and maintain partnerships and relationships with employers and event partners. Ultimately, my goal is to help get job seekers in our career program closer to jobs. So help them build their professional networks and ideally get them hired. Today, we have several esteemed guests from several different tech companies across the country. Some are hiring managers, some have technical roles, and my hope that this is an opportunity for our graduates to network, to connect, and to chat about the software industry. So a quick overview of the order of events. Obviously, I'm kicking off the event now. We have a few more introductions to get through. After that, I will call up the partners one at a time who are attending today to give the brief introduction. Then we will introduce the capstone and jump into pitches. After each individual pitch, there will be about 3 to 5 minutes of Q&A with the guest speakers. After all of the pitches are done, we will then open it up for a general Q&A. This will be an opportunity to revisit some things that we spoke about earlier, for students to ask for clarity, for guest speakers to ask for more questions and things like that. And then we will wrap up the event. So a little background on CircuitStream. We began in 2015 through a network of developers and designers, and we are now a leading provider of technology education in game development, product management, and software development. Our primary goal is to provide future-proofed and industry-relevant skills to folks looking to pivot into tech, to upskill, or to learn about the industry as a whole. Our secondary goal is to prepare our bootcamp graduates for jobs in their preferred industry through events, one-on-one connections, and engaging with our extensive network of employer partners. Since our start in 2015, we have educated over 50,000 learners globally, and we are constantly updating our curriculum to stay ahead of the curve. CircuitStream is also educational partners with several top universities across North America to provide technology education for both youth and adult learners. So in parallel to the technical programs that we offer, we also provide an optional career program to our bootcamp students. This program provides ongoing support for students who are keen to start job hunting right after graduation to make sure that they are prepared to find a job. So through this program, we commit to supporting our students with their careers, their personal development, and we take pride in providing a ton of opportunities to connect our learners with industry partners and their networks. For those of you in the audience today, if you are interested in learning more about our employer network or how you can get involved in some of these events, we are always looking to expand our network of employers who we reach out to for events, for speaking opportunities, our talent pool, things like that. So if you want to learn more or you're interested in joining, my email is up on the slide. You can reach out to me, and I'll also put that in the chat towards the end of the event. So it is now time for our guest speakers to introduce themselves. So partners, when I call your name, if you could come up on stage, give us a quick rundown of where you work, what you do, a little background about your career so far, and then anything else you'd like to share with our presenters today. First up, we have Sana, so the Senior Infrastructure Engineer at Shopify. Welcome, Sana.
My name is Sana. I'm a senior infrastructure engineer at Shopify, and I've been full-time for about 2 years now. Before that, I also interned at Shopify and did a couple different internships with mobile, backend, and data science. Just a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Angus. So Angus, if you could jump on stage and join us, that would be awesome.
Hi, everybody. Pleased to be here. Yes, I work at Phosphine Digital Consultancy out of Edmonton, working on a few exciting startup projects and have founded a few companies as well. So a bit addicted to the entrepreneurial journey and very excited to hear everyone's pitches, and I'll be as tough as I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Angus. Next up, Taylor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor. I am a software developer at ArtCurve. My career has been interning at ArtCurve, and then I also interned at Galatea, and I believe Manuel is here today too. So yeah, now I work mainly software development, but doing data analytics projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor. Next up, we have Atefe.
Hi, everyone. I'm Atefe. I'm UX UI designer, and I'm currently working with Global Affair Canada and leading the UX team that we are developing a CRM system that will serve over 1,000 users and will replace the legacy system. So happy to be here and looking forward to see your project.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up, let's go to Thomas.
Hey everyone, my name's Thomas, and I'm a software developer here in Calgary's Helsum, what we like to call the most loved payments company here in Canada. As a bit of background for me, I'm currently the quote-unquote tech lead for Helsum's recurring department, so any and all subscriptions-based services. And I've been at the company now for just under 3 years. And as a bit of relevant material for the presenters as well, my background isn't actually software engineering, but it's rather chemical engineering. And I come to the discipline, you could say, through oil and gas and some fun times over the past 4 years. So very much pleasure to be here today.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. Last but certainly not least, we have Manuel.
Hey, guys. My name is Manuel. It's good to be here, and I'm looking forward to all of your projects. To give you a little bit of a background, I am a mechanical engineer by trade, and I've been working for roughly 7 years, and roughly about 5 of those have been in the tech industry, so just doing a pivot there on more of a technology aspect of things. And I'm the product manager at Galatea. We're a company that focuses on trucking and disposal and fluid logistics optimizations in the oil and gas field.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I will now pass it over to Karin, CircuitStream's lead career coach. She will introduce the Software Development Bootcamp and today's presenting students. So Karin, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Karin, and like Maddie said, I'm the lead career coach here at CircuitStream. I'm very excited to present our graduates to you today, and I will be your event host for the next portion of Pitch Day. Software Development Bootcamp is an intensive 36-week live online bootcamp which prepares students for a successful career in software development. Our cohort that's presenting today started back in April 2024 and graduated this past December 2024. The students were given 4 weeks to go from creating an idea for their app to coming up with a fully functional software application that showcases their skills in software development and design. The criteria for evaluation for this project was architecture, code quality, framework and library usage, testing and debugging, devlog, and deployment. Today we have 5 graduates that will be presenting, and they all worked on their projects individually. So all of the graduates are currently seeking employment, and some are open to collaboration and even mentorship. With that, I wish all of the graduates good luck with their pitches, and we look forward to hearing from you. First up, we'll have Rachit Saini, who will be presenting Meal Prep Genie V3. Following that, there will be Vanessa Bolos with Finance Tracker, followed by Maria Jose with Collab, a dating app, followed by Michael Slater with Virtual Marketplace.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Karan, for the introduction. I'm Rachit Saini, and wanted to also start by thanking CircuitStream for organizing this event and the panelists for taking the time to be here today. I'm super excited to share my capstone project with you, and let's get right into it. Meal planning is something we all do, but for many, it's quite inefficient. Canadian households currently waste about 2.2 million tons of edible food annually. This accumulates to about 1,766 Canadian dollars a year. This totals to about 50 billion in avoidable food waste, as cited by the National Zero Waste Council. Meanwhile, at the same time, food delivery services generated about 96 billion in North America last year, profiting from convenience while increasing food costs. We've all seen a $15 meal turn into a $30 expense due to all the service fees and markups by the end of the process. That's where Meal Prep Genie V3 comes in. It's an AI-powered meal planning platform that helps users optimize their current food reserves, reduce waste, save time, and cut costs. So a little more about me on a high level. I'm a full stack developer, passionate about the AI-driven applications and scalable software, and also with a focus on automation. My building solutions usually take a simplified approach to everyday challenges and enhance efficiency. It's an honor to be here today presenting to such an accomplished panel, including Sana, Michael, Angus, Taylor, Thomas, Atife, and Manuel. I look forward to sharing my work and learning from you industry professionals while exploring new opportunities. Next slide. Beyond this, I'm also passionate about enhancing efficiency that foster real impact. I currently hold certifications in full stack development, microcerts in cloud architecture and cybersecurity, and continuously refining my UI UX expertise to build intuitive products. I thrive at this intersection of scalability and user experience, and I'm eager to keep growing in a professional setting. Next slide. So, Meal Prep Genie was designed to simplify meal planning, reduce food waste, and offer cost-effective alternatives before resorting to delivery apps. With AI-powered meal generation built on GPT-4o, ingredient recognition, and flexible credit-based system, it enables efficient meal management and at a lower cost. Beyond this capstone, I seek to connect with professionals, explore mentorship, and contribute scalable software solutions in a meaningful way. Next slide. So a brief breakdown of the whole development journey here it can be defined in 3 steps. In the planning phase, where I focused on implementing Supabase authentication, working with integrating OpenAI's API and user input structure, then proceeding to development. So this was building the meal parameters for the generation output, ingredient image recognition as well, and a credit tracking system for each call that was being made to the API. And the current state, where the MVP is live, featuring an AI-driven meal planning output that recognizes ingredients and the user's customization. But rather than me explaining it and trying to avoid the technical aspects of it, how about we jump into a demo and you can see what user creation to first user generation looks like. Next slide. We'll first start by creating a new user. Once authenticated, I'll be redirected to this onboarding form for new user where I can identify my diet type. I can also input any type of allergies that I may have. Along with this, I like to identify the type of activity level and daily caloric goals I have. Once this has been set, I can also identify kitchen equipment that I will be utilizing and accessible to me. So we'll go ahead and put air fryer and stovetop. This now sets our hard settings and preferences for our user profile. Now I can go ahead and add any variables like additional requirements around specific events that are happening in user's life or the user's changing flavor palette. I want to utilize this particular ingredient that's been in my kitchen that I love for this recipe, which is dry chili flakes, chili garlic flakes, and let's go ahead and generate. As you can see now, user has been able to successfully generate using this image and their variable and hard set preferences. I've identified spicy chili garlic crisp recipe with a focus with souvlaki and the image and ingredient that I wanted to utilize. I can save this recipe and now it will populate in my saved recipe section where I can recall it or delete it. So the lessons from this development were quite a few, but if I can narrow it down, one key challenge was securing the data integrity and while optimizing the API's performance, and then leading to debugging a lot of row level security in Supabase. It was the first time I kind of was encountering this on the back end. So working with role-based access controls in the same way and balancing security with performance. Optimizing the API involved rate limiting, token management, and caching strategies to maintain speed and cost efficiency. Prompt engineering enhancements did improve the suggestion accuracy. So it does kind of function almost like a RAG, but not really. And so on the front end, for state management, I utilized Next.js and Tailwind CSS, which strengthened that approach and UI performance along with the real-time interactions. This project did help me grow in aspects of database security, along with working and customizing the API calls and functionality, along with making sure my front end was scalable. So in the next phase of the next sprint, I plan on introducing more sustainability and user engagement. So with the three main focuses, starting with monetization, for every new user, we plan to give them 20 meal free generations, but require about $3.99 for purchasing another 20 generations. However, that does not exist right now. That will be by way of Stripe integration. And I plan on introducing a pay by donation model eventually, where after a survey has captured the hours saved for each user, we'll basically just offer a way for them to donate based on what they feel is fair. So this user onboarding and feedback will require some work still and is planned in the next move. The goal is ultimately to improve the adoption, retention, and ensure a sustainable user-driven model with minimal barriers to entry. In closing, Meal Prep Genie wasn't really just a capstone. It was a bit of an exploratory journey of how I can build on this concept of AI-driven solutions that address inefficiencies and leverage and leverage the or enhance the user experience. In an economy where convenience is very costly right now, I wanted to see if that could offer a practical, cost-effective alternative. This project really strengthened my skills in AI development, backend security, user experience, and reinforcing my passion for problem solving and product development. I'm very eager to connect with mentors, industry professionals, and teams working on innovative projects, whether it's through internship opportunities, product collaborations, or discussing more AI-driven solutions. Pretty much, I like to geek out. I'd love to explore ways to create more impact together. You can reach me at my email listed there and my portfolio website, seansaney.com. I welcome any questions and I look forward to the discussion. Thank you for your time. I truly appreciate the opportunity to be here and presenting to you today.
All right. Thank you so much, Richard. You can stay on stage, and I'm also going to call all of our guest speakers on stage so that you can have 4 minutes to ask questions to Richard. Thank you so much.
Perfect. I can start here. Just very nice presentation there, Richard. It's great to see what you're doing. Just something that came to mind, being in space, it's just more of a thought that came to my mind. There's these new US sanctions coming up. So I think one of the things there that I would see, there's probably a big user influence right now is trying to buy things local. So even us to expand sort of those things, as proud Canadians that we are, I think, just something that came to my mind as I was seeing your presentation was having a feature where you can now say where you want to have preferences on, especially when you're developing that grocery list. I think it'd be good to potentially do that, especially as it becomes more important for day-to-day lives for Canadians.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback, Manuel. Actually, I've thought about approaching farmer markets for the initial adoption where they can tie their particular harvest or its hyper-local product to this meal generation service and offer 20 free generations in a kind of effort to promote more hyper locality purchasing. So it's something I'm constantly thinking about, and I'm really glad to hear that thought is in the right track of mine. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have a technical question for you, Rachid, and I guess just to start off, fantastic presentation. Pretty interesting idea, as Manuel said, related to current circumstances. But technically wise, you mentioned like you had both hard and soft preferences for the user, for example, that you would set certain preferences when you signed up, and those would stick with the user for the duration of their use of your product. But for certain meal planning, for example, like caloric intake may not be consistent across the board. You may have situations where it changes over the course of your life, or you may enter into a exercise program where you want to have that value fluctuate over time. Did you ever consider potentially allowing the users to change more than just their optional preferences as part of your project?
Oh, yeah. So I was trying to really keep the demo to 2 minutes. So there were certain aspects of the service that you don't actually see, but all of the onboarding input is optional, and you can adjust it later on in your user profile. And there's only 2 variable inputs that we kind of keep open for every generation. And one is the image recognition specific to maybe a recent grocery haul or a particular item that's just like awaiting the expiration date coming up and you want to do something with it. So for those scenarios, and then the other additional requirements, which before generation is also optional, is just like there's intuitive prompts that also, which were really small here, so you couldn't see it, but it gives different scenarios that might be subjective to each user. So I might be training for a marathon, and that needs to be factored in because I need to carb load and source those type of ingredients. Or one particular one where I surveyed some women was around the menstrual time and like what kind of data structures and identifying food around that. So there's those type of variables, while there's also hard hard preferences that you can set or remove at any time, depending on when you want to do it. So I wish I could have shown that. I couldn't. I was just trying to condense it into 2 minutes. But thank you for identifying that, because if I missed that, that would have really sucked.
No worries. Thank you very much.
I'm going to call to the stage now Vanessa Bolos with her Finance Tracker app. Guest speakers, you may now leave the stage.
Awesome. So yeah, hi guys. My name is Vanessa Bolos, and I'm the sole developer of this project, and my app is called Personal Finance Tracker. Next slide, please. So a little bit about myself. Before the bootcamp, I had no programming experience whatsoever. And now I can use JavaScript, CSS, and React to create interactive and visually engaging applications. And I'm also passionate about using technology to improve lives and want to be a part of a team that serves clients and their audiences effectively. And I also have a strong interest in AI and innovation, and I strive to deliver creative and impactful solutions. Next slide, please. So the inspiration behind this project. So basically, I thought to myself, managing expenses can be challenging, and it often leaves us unprepared for emergencies or unsure of where our money goes. And this inspired me to create an app that promotes mindful financial management and helping me stay accountable and make informed spending decisions. And I also hope to gain better insight into my spending habits and identify areas where I may overlook. Next slide, please. So enter a simple, customizable expense and income tracking app. And the tech stack I use for this is Next.js React Framework for the front end, Firebase for authentication and data storage, and for styling, I use Tailwind. And next slide, please. So here's a quick overview of the project dashboard. If you go to the next slide as well, and that overview of the project features, which I will show more in the demo video later. If you could go to the next slide, please. Awesome. So here's a brief timeline. We were given roughly 4 weeks for the project, and week 1 is about just planning and setting up the basics. So basically, I started up a new Next.js project, created it basically for the app, implemented the donut visual from Chart.js to display the balance, expense categories, income with dummy data, and created a model or a reusable text window, which you can see in the bottom left there, for new expense and income entries and to view a history. And week 2 is about just building the UI for core features and connecting it to the backend. So for CRUD operations, I use Firebase Firestore, and then now replaced the data with actual user input. And for week 3, just setting up the Firebase authentication and final implementations, and set up the welcome page for user authentication, and implemented the Google authentication and registration through Firebase as well. And week 4 is just thorough testing of all features and functionality, debugging any issues that may arise, and just adding the Firestore security rules to protect data and ensuring only authorized users will be able to update, delete, and create data. And finally, deployed it to Verstal to host my application. So next slide, please. And next slide to show the video.
Email login page. Dashboard. Income tracking. Toast notifications. Updated balance. Expense tracking. Delete category option. Date and timestamp. Interactive Visual Plus real-time updates. Google Authentication. Saved previous user input. Delete input option. Mobile friendly. Update anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that short demo. And if you go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so key takeaways and challenges. If you go to the next slide. So it definitely felt like Elmo here. At times, I just want to throw my hands in the air and almost gave up during debugging and testing because I didn't really understand why the specific line of code was throwing an error, and it kept throwing an error and an error and an error. But in the end, I learned much more about Next.js, framework, and Firebase, and so it all worked out in the end. So yeah, coding logic in general took a bit of time to truly understand, and looked for tutorials and read documentations for that. And yeah, next slide, please. So the next 3 steps I will do for this project is to implement a budgeting feature that will allow users to set financial goals and track progress, and also add a multi-category to further enhance reporting and tracking. And lastly, implement a feature to send reminders for upcoming bills and payments, and such as like push notifications. Next slide, please. And that's pretty much it for the project. And here's my contact info. Just as Karen mentioned earlier, I am looking for internship, mentorship, and overall connections in the industry. So feel free to send a connection request or shoot me a message. And here's my LinkedIn profile as well. If you want to scan the QR code, I can give you a moment here to scan. Take your phones out real quick. And also drop it in the chat as well for my LinkedIn profile. And if you could go to the next slide. Yeah, so yeah, thank you. If you want to check out my app, you can feel free to do so. You can also scan that QR code as well. It'll take you right into the application. And yeah, thanks for your time, and I'll stay behind for a bit for any questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I definitely could use a finance tracker app, so I'm super excited to check that out. Now I'm going to invite all of our guest speakers to the stage, and Vanessa, you can answer some questions.
Go first. Thank you. It was a great idea. Thank you for showing us. One thing that I noticed in your user interface that you use a lot of colors and visualization like pie chart to convey the information. So one thing that comes to my mind, have you ever considered the accessibility guidelines like color contrast ratio, or if your interface could be read by a screen readers?
Not right away, because I just wanted to test out if it works. But definitely in the works. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for the suggestion. Just to for those who are let's say who are colorblind, I understand that it might be a difficulty for them to differentiate, and also just for the overall user experience. Definitely will keep that in mind to further improve the application. So thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
I can go next. Great presentation, Vanessa. I really liked the idea. You talked a lot about testing and having that be a big part of your timeline. So I just wanted to ask a little bit more about what methods you use to test, and looking back on it now, if you would have changed anything in your strategy towards testing.
Sure thing. So basically, how I went about trying to find a solution is, since I use visual Visual Code, they have like a little prompt like why it's not working and so on. And so I try to research more about that, Google, ChatGPT, online, in YouTube, like what does this mean or so. And yeah, and how I go about it is just trying to read more documentation and see how other people bypass that kind of error too. So there's a lot of trial and error for sure. And that's what my biggest challenge, but that's learning in general is just to like do trial and error. So yeah.
Yeah, sure. There's lots of tools out there to help with like web app testing as well. I don't know if you've looked at like Selenium, where you can build tests to then
Oh,
run
okay.
on it as well. So that might help in the future.
Thank you so much. I'll look into that.
One quick comment that I'll make. I think it's really good to have a link just to try that out. I think, obviously you guys had 4 weeks to work on this, so limited time, and the videos are great, but even having that quick demo where users sort of can get in their hands and give it a try, it's also very important, especially once you're bringing your business idea out to live and you really want to get that user feedback to, I can configure an environment for it to work seamlessly. It's always sort of that trust factor whenever you can pull it up, try it yourself, and make sure that it also works. It's a great tool there that you added that.
Thank you. Yeah, will do.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Great work today. I'll just ask everybody to leave the stage now, and I'm going to call on Maria Jose to present Collab, a dating app.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Before we start, I would like to congratulate everyone for the amazing projects and ideas we've seen so far. So without much further ado, let me begin. Next slide, please. So let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Jose Mejia. I have a bachelor's in telecommunications engineering, and it was during an internship in the Mexican government that I encountered web development for the first time, and I fell in love with it. I didn't know where to start, and now I'm pursuing a web development diploma. Next, please. So this is my project. It's called Collab. It's a dating app. So basically, Collab moves beyond the swiping and the chatting, focusing on shared experiences and real-world interactions. This is a project-based matching app in which users share their interests in specific causes or propose on short-term projects. So collaboration is the key for this app, and it moves from dating to collaboration, and eventually the goal develop a romantic relationship. So for the design and everything around this project, once that I decide that I want to do a dating app, I spent hours researching, asking friends and relatives what they were looking in dating apps, what they were expecting to see, and based on that, I designed Collab. The most challenging part, of course, the coding, the tech, JavaScript, for instance. So I decided to go beyond. I didn't give what we learned in the bootcamp. I went through the job descriptions, see what our companies were looking for, and I used some technologies outside the classroom. Next, please. And here's my demo. Enjoy.
This is Collab. From the moment we access the website, this app is activated and the main headers, some paragraphs, and the navigation bar come to life, as well as the hero background created with CSS to create a 3D effect. When we click the hamburger, we can see the main sections. About Us introduces the customer with a brief story about this project. Then collapse. This is the most important section, as here's where people can see the current projects, their descriptions, and the button to get enrolled in it. Once we click, and we can get in touch. The following section is stories. This is a nook for all the success love stories that could not have been possible without Collab. And finally, we have the contact section, an easy way to connect customers with a Collab company. Here, users have the option to select a certain service and even book an appointment with us.
So for this project, I divide everything, stages, and of course the structure, like the bones of this dating app. I use HTML, but I also use Astro, something that wasn't taught in the bootcamp, but I constantly saw in job descriptions. So I decided to go for it. For the design to make it appealing, I went for SAS for the responsiveness bootstraps and of course CSS. And finally, to make it alive, to make it like not just like a static app, I decided to use a GSA, which is like quite popular, JavaScript, of course, and I went for email GAs for the contact form. Next, please. So the takeaways definitely is like learning from this bootcamp, learning there's lots of technologies we have to keep update for this, and of course what I could have like done differently, maybe not spending too much time in the design and maybe add more functionalities to this app, so I'm keep improving on it. The challenges, of course, learning something by myself, um, keep like challenge me, like uh, seeing that I am able, I'm capable of learning all these technologies. And definitely JavaScript, for instance, is like still a challenge, but still working on it. And what's next? I'm open to anything, an internship, a volunteering. I already have some experience in the past, but I would like to have like a more like enhanced project. I learn by doing, and projects are perfect for me. Next, please. And thank you so much for your attention. Please keep in touch. This is my GitHub QR code and my LinkedIn profile. I have updated some of my projects, my personal projects, and from the classroom as well. So enjoy it. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maria. It sounds like you did a lot of research on this project. Good work. Next, we're going to have some time for questions for Maria, so don't leave the stage just yet. And I'm going to call all of our guest speakers to the stage, please.
Great presentation. I love the interactivity of it. I'm a little more curious about your vision and how you envision Collab's matching process and filtering based on each user's needs. Because, like, for example, most dating apps kind of specify who they are in a couple tags.
So basically, the idea in my head was like not like another meetup website. It was like connecting collab with organizations or groups or like independent groups. And in that way, for goals like causes, for instance, a cleanup or like building I don't know, a shelter, just for mention something. And in that way, connect people, offering these options, these projects. And if someone is interested there on that, just enroll it in a very like straightforward um, registry. And yeah, based on that, like keep like connecting with people with the same interests. That's basically like the general idea.
It was a great idea and I like it. My only suggestion is about the user interface. I want to say for adding each component or each icon, each interaction in your work, let's have a strong reason. For example, you add a hamburger menu, which is really cool, but we use hamburger menu when we have like restriction in real estate on our interface. So if you have enough space to add like a menu and by clicking on hamburger menu it will be visible, I prefer to make your menu visible and don't use the hamburger menu. I know it's really cool. It was like a great interaction that you click on it, it will be open then close. But I just want to suggest let's have a strong reason for every single component and interaction that you add to your work.
Great suggestion. Thank you for that. My idea was to keep like a minimalist design. Again, I asked some friends and relatives what they were like expected to see, and one of the things they said is like it's overwhelming. The buttons, the process, everything. That's why I created it that way. But you're right, so great suggestion. Thank you.
I can go next. Very interesting idea, Maria. And also, funnily enough, it's an idea in general which the dating industry is starting to consider. So your concept definitely has far more reach than you might expect it. My question relates to the mobile side because most dating apps aren't web-based. They're typically accessed through your smartphone. So did you ever have any intention of coming up with a mobile-friendly design so people can access your project anywhere on the go?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, basically the website was the first step, but yeah, I definitely needed more time, but the idea is to like also have like a mobile version and let's like try it. Yeah, but definitely yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Maria Jose. Next up,
Thank
we're
you.
going to have Michael Slater present his virtual marketplace.
Thanks for the introduction, Corinne. It's a pleasure to be here today, and thanks everybody for coming today. My name is Michael Slater, and welcome to the virtual marketplace. Next slide. So, a quick introduction about myself. I have over 20 years experience in the visual effects industry, working on movies like Avatar, a lot of the Marvel films, Tintin, Harry Potter, and many, many more. This led me to start a software company called NodeFlow, which leverages the technology from visual effects to solve real-world problems. My development experience includes Python, JavaScript, C++, and building broad range of AI agents for clients. Next slide. So my capstone project was the virtual marketplace, an easy way to sell absolutely anything. Next slide. So the goal of the virtual marketplace was to provide a platform to be able to sell things locally. We're going to use the example of a homemade soap company called Natural Soap, where quality soap products are made from home. These products are then individually packaged and sold separately. We'll use the branding and the products shown here as a starting point to set up our new marketplace. Next slide. So to make purchases on the platform, it's an easy three-step process. First, you add the products into the customer cart with the Add Cart button. View the number of purchases in the cart to make sure that the total price is correct. And then lastly, proceed to the checkout, enter the shipping address and payment details to complete the purchase. Next slide. It's really easy for the site and the business owner to set up their own site. It's an easy three-step process. First, adding new products by dragging and dropping on an image, filling out the product description, setting the desired price, and then clicking on the Add Product button. Once all the products have been added, they can easily be reviewed and checked for the availability to customers and check the details have been entered correctly. Lastly, the admin sets up the site branding, including changing color schemes and adding logos to customize the look and feel of the site. Next slide. Part of the functionality of the platform is you're able to create events. Once an event has been set up, you're able to sell tickets to these events. The platform will track the ticket sales and it will send tickets via SMS or your phone to your Apple Wallet. They can also be downloaded by PDF file and printed for the event. Next slide. So here we have a short demonstration of the virtual marketplace in action.
Welcome to the virtual marketplace. Users are able to create their own custom branding, customize logos, color schemes, icons. Through this, they're able to personalize their own unique brand. It's really easy to add products. Drag and drop an image, add a product name, a product description, set the desired price, and add a category. You're also able to manage stock inventory and available stock. It's so easy to add as many products as you like. Once a product's added, it's instantly for sale. The order of each product can also be customized to your liking. It's really easy to set up payments. All you have to do is enter your company address, company details, and your Stripe API key. Now we're going to see the user experience. It's really easy to sign up as a new user, register, and then log in. You're able to customize your profile settings, update your details, and add your shipping address. This way the user can make quick purchases. All payments are processed through Stripe. When a purchase is made, it's easily managed in the purchase view. Through the admin view, it's so easy to manage your orders, shipping addresses, shipping labels, to make sure all orders get delivered. We're also able to create events, sell tickets to events, track tickets, and manage sales. Purchasing tickets works very similar to purchasing products. When a ticket's been purchased, it's accessible by download or sent to your phone to your Apple Wallet. Now we're all set up, we can add more products to make this a fully functional site. There is no limit to the number of products you can add, and you're able to change the layout of your products to enhance the user experience. Platform manages product views, so the highest rated products will show first, and it's easy to update products at any time. Once we've added all the products, then we can position the products. Let's make sure our best-selling products are shown first. You're able to drag and drop the new product position. There are many modules that you can add in. Lastly, we were able to track inventory to make sure we always have the products in stock. This is the virtual marketplace.
Great. Next slide. So the takeaways are, it's because everything's done through a Docker container. A new site can be set up instantly. There are subscription plans available to suit different needs for different size companies, and different modules that are able to be added as they go. Next slide. So the technology, we use Node.js for the back end and React for the front end. Stripe does all the processing for payments via the Stripe API key, and Twilio for the messaging of tickets and alerts via SMS. Next slide. So I'm currently looking for help with mentorship or support, business development to make the virtual marketplace the easiest way to sell products and tickets online. Next slide. Please feel free to reach out via email or connect on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to set up a meeting at convenience and give you a detailed overview of the virtual marketplace. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. Good work on your virtual marketplace. Now I'm going to call our guest speakers to the stage to ask questions to Michael.
Well, I guess I can start off here. Very interesting idea, Michael. Fantastic presentation. I don't think it's covered in your presentation or even like your current implementation, but have you given any thought to, say, quantity management for products on this marketplace? Like, one of the key issues for like online checkout and e-commerce is that you don't want two customers ordering the same item and then both processing, but there's only one available.
That's a great question, Thomas. There's an inventory system. On the video, the very last part of the video, it does a quick overview of the inventory system, and there's actually modules that you can add in. One of the big modules that I'm adding is an AI module because I build agents myself. So a lot of the sales and like data mining will be done in the back end, and it'll be transparent to the user. So it will know the highest selling products, the inventory. It actually manages components as well for making the products. So if it's soap, if you need chemicals to make those products, then you're able to then figure out suppliers. And these can all be added through modules, and they actually are built already. I just didn't have the time to be able to show the full functionality of the back end. So yeah, that's a great question there, Thomas.
Thank you.
I have a question mostly from the business perspective. I saw there you're looking for funding and that kind of stuff. So what would be the differentiator here in this platform when you look at some of the other marketplaces? What would be the sort of that differentiator piece? Because there's a lot of marketplaces out there.
Definitely. I've actually thought that through a lot. I've got a business background myself, and this is stage one. So you have your own special marketplace, which is a store. But the true marketplace is actually another site which will have all the information from other people's sites, and that's the main point of difference. So you'll have one central store, which is like an Amazon store or a larger store, that will have all these smaller markets in them. And the idea is that as your brand builds, you'll rank higher on these stores. People will find your products a lot easier. So it's a one place you can go. And every time someone adds a new market in, if they make their product, it's added to the larger marketplace. Hope that answers the question, Manuel.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, it's unfortunate the video audio doesn't work, but it shows how easy it is to set up, because really all you need to do is add a Stripe API key and you can make sales instantly with products.
I guess to go along with that question of you had multiple different marketplaces set up, and I'm not sure if this was explained in the video or not, but I guess what are the different roles you would have? Like, would you have an admin for each of those marketplaces? And then do you have an admin beyond that, or how is your role set up that way?
That's a good question, Taylor. Yeah. So when you first purchase the as a new user, it sets up the site and you are sent the admin login, and then from there you're able to log in as an admin and then change your credentials and then control other admins. So you're able to nominate new admins. So every time there's a user management section where every time someone signs in as a new user, you can actually block them or you can suspend users. So that way you can have multiple admins, and only admins can access the branding, adding products, be able to make management, like manage modules and subscriptions. So there's a back-end management admin section where you're able to manage users.
And then can anyone create an admin account, or would that be accessed through going through you yourself? How would that be set up?
Yeah, so there's a default that's set up when you purchase. So you purchase the system in a Docker container, it sends you the details. Then you're able to log in for the first time, and then you're able to set your credentials, and then the admin user is nullified, and then you're able to, so no one else is able to access that admin until the first admin you're able to retrieve that admin if you do lose it, if you're the only admin. But then you can actually specify other users as admins, and then they are able to log in and make changes as well. So you're able to pretty much have as many permission groups as you need. Hopefully that answers the question there.
Yeah, thanks.
It's quite a big platform to build in 4 weeks, and it's been growing quite exponentially. There's a lot of modules that have been added in, and the idea is to actually grow this to content, to be able to sell content like tutorials and lessons. So the idea is you can sell pretty much anything through the same platform.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. Congratulations to all of the graduates. You can now go off stage, and I'm going to call back Maddie to the stage, and she's going to kick off our questions and answers period.
All right. Thanks, Karin. First of all, I would like to say a huge congratulations to all of our presenters today. So please give yourselves a pat on the back. I know that can be really stressful. So you guys all did a really good job. You were all very clear and concise, and I thought all of those ideas were really amazing. We are going to start with a bit of a general Q&A before we wrap up here. I would also like to invite all of the presenters and all of the guest speakers back up onto the stage. I will kick off the Q&A here. This is sort of a general question for all of our bootcamp graduates. Are any of you hoping to continue with your ideas and with your projects or capstones? And if so, what do the next sort of 6 months look for you guys?
Yeah, I'm planning on building out the next sprint and focusing on monetization, getting the user survey and feedback loops closed up and developed. And then from there, having that inform whether we're gonna try to approach products that are hyper local or markets like farm markets and local grocery stores and things like that. So that's as far as I've thought about it so far, and I think the next steps from there will be informed by whatever type of feedback we're getting from all aspects of the stakeholders, from stores to type of marketplace to users and how much value is being driven. So, in a nutshell, that is going to be my focus in the next couple of weeks.
At the moment, I'm pursuing diploma in web development, so definitely in the next 6 months I graduate from it. And of course, like keep like working on any project that presents for me, and also on my own ideas like this one.
Awesome. For our guest speakers, do you guys have anything you'd like to ask for the graduates? Anything else you'd want to go ahead and jump in with? Michael, I know that the audio on your video didn't work, but it was still a really cool demo, and I know we're all keen to learn more. So please feel free to jump in if you would like to chat about your project more as well.
Definitely, yeah. So I have actually some test users that are interested in using this straight away. So within a couple months, about a month, it'll be up and running for the first beta test, and then a lot of the extra functionality is coming very soon, like selling the events. That just needs a little bit of work to be able to track and how that events works. I actually play in a band, so the problem came from selling t-shirts and selling things and events and tickets, and how does this all work in one system. So I'll be using this to solve my problem as well. And I see in 6 months this will be fully functional, and the marketplace will be built as well.
That's awesome. I think one of the biggest things or more powerful things entrepreneurs can do or businesses can do is dog fooding. Being able to use sort of your own product. I think that's such a big differentiator. So many companies and people just try to bring these products to market, but they haven't really used them themselves. And being able to sort of put yourself through the ringer, through the workflow, seeing what works, what's not, sort of getting yourself and be one of those end users. I think it goes a long way. Here, for example, I got all of us go on a rotation once a week, and we're sort of managing support, using our own app to solve issues for our customers. And then from there, we have in our backlog, whatever it is, we have things that come from clients, things that we notice ourselves as well. And it's just this iterative loop. It's that feedback mechanism that we have constantly just plugged in. As the app changes, as the platform grows, you're still tuned into the root cause of the problem or the value that you're trying to give to those users. And that's huge. That's huge. So I highly recommend everyone to try to do that, because you're going to see things that users might not tell you necessarily as well.
Definitely. Thanks, Emmanuel. And actually, this is part of the AI, is getting a lot of information from what people are just looking at, really data mining to be able to, a lot of this I don't see on the front end, but knowing which products and really understanding what the products, like which are selling the best, which people are looking at, to be able to get the best feedback. And the idea of the platform is just make it easy as possible. And really, to set it up, it takes about a minute, where you can change the look, add a logo, add some products, and things are for sale. So really, is the ease of use is the main goal. Where if other ways to set up other payment platforms can take a little bit of time, and really it's for the customer that that really doesn't even know how to use a computer. They can just buy it, set it up, and put their logo, and they're done. I appreciate all your feedback. It's really, really helpful. Thanks, Emmanuel. Thanks, everybody.
All right, Vanessa, we haven't heard from you. What's the next 6 months looking like for you with your capstone?
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, my pitch, the next 3 steps was to implement the budgeting feature, similar to I think what an AB has right now, but unfortunately that's paid version. So I'm hoping to create a free version for myself and for people who would like to use my app as well. Also, um, for my personal preference to make the app more visually appealing. So right now it's pretty plain. Since I aspire to be a web developer and just want to make it more make it user friendly and just overall look sleek, elegant. So that's definitely in the brainstorming process right now. And yeah, and more sorting features for to it has like the reporting and tracking as well, like I mentioned, for monthly um, category separations and so on, and maybe yeah, and other features that I might add. So yeah, that's what's in the works right now.
I had a question for Rashid on, I think, our first presenter with meal prep. And you made a comment when you were presenting. You said that it was like RAG, but not really, I think you mentioned. And I was just curious to press on that and ask what you meant by that.
So, in a way, like, so retrieval augmented generations rely on like a central point of instance where it can kind of understand how to structure a response back. So it's not necessarily all the way there, even though there is a framework for how the input needs to come in and then deploy the generation accordingly. But it was kind of heading in that direction where there's like this central understanding of how hard settings and soft settings need to be understood, and then have the output spit out accordingly. So that was kind of just I was just kind of about to go off on a tangent when I expressed that, but I was kind of I held myself back because that's not it's not necessarily it can't be really defined as a RAG yet, but maybe down the line it works as like this central processing unit for the inputs that are incoming, and then the generations after. But thank you for bringing that back up and having me clarify a bit more.
Yeah, you bet. And my second question, which is for the whole group, since we have someone from Helsum on the phone, is not one person mentioned Helsum for payments. So I'm just curious if there was a reason why Stripe was your default, and maybe you could get some product feedback.
That's great. That's actually, I did a customer survey and everybody has a Stripe account. That's the only reason why. It seemed like all the feedback. And I think that's because they have point of sale payments. So when they go in and they have their tap, and because they already know that, and if they're familiar with that technology, but I would be happy to integrate it. It's really something that I'd like to work with the payment platform to make things even easier. Sheet.
Yeah, I also had actually had a point of curiosity with Helsum around what kind of Web3 portals are available for enabling digital asset transactions, because I know there's some customization around KYC required working with the Stripe integration and like the API if you want to go down that route. But yeah, no, I definitely have that point of curiosity for Helsum and their service offering for that.
As a bit of, I could say, overview, I'd say Helsum is no more difficult than Stripe or Square to integrate with. We do have our payment APIs. We do have Apple Tap on Pay now, for example. We also provide card terminals, so the whole host of payment options is there. Ultimately, for the choice you go with, it comes down to just what you prefer to use as an option. Just due to like differences in design principles, primarily as well, like say transactional costs, because interchange rate is ultimately where each payment company makes its money. I'll be biased and say I think Helsum is the best in that sense, that we do offer some of the cheapest transactional services around. But again, it ultimately comes down to research, and for some businesses, Stripe or Square may be the better option. You just ultimately have to do your research.
Yeah, no, thank you for responding, Thomas. I guess my question was more so around like enabling tools available for enabling digital asset transaction, like crypto and other recognized assets that are going to be incoming shortly here. But so if there's what kind of and yeah, so is there some possibilities there?
Unfortunately, not right now for crypto. That's not on our roadmap, but I don't know what the future is going to hold. And to be fair, I don't know off the top of the head if even Stripe or Square themselves have the ability for digital asset transfer. It's somewhat of a new field, and I suspect we will see more development on that front over the next 4 years.
Yeah, right now kind of have to integrate the full exchange API separately and then have that like traditional portal as well available, if that's the kind of only way. But I'm hoping in the future that that kind of meets somewhere and there's just one central product.
Just on a side note, Thomas, I'd love to integrate Helmkin to the platform so we could connect and find a way to make that happen. The idea is also do e-transfer and all types of transfers. So Stripe was just the generic what most people use, but yeah, we'd love to find especially a Canadian payment gateway. That'd be great.
No worries, Michael. And yeah, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and we can chat further.
Appreciate it.
Speaking of e-commerce, we do have Sana here from Shopify, which is one of the most widely recognized e-commerce platforms out there, I think. Sana, is there anything that you saw today that you thought was working really well, that struck a chord with you, that you recognized from your own internal systems or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have our own marketplace app. It's called Shop, and it's always constantly changing. And I think, Michael, your presentation, you had a lot of the core components that our own Shop app has. And we've recently kind of integrated AI and into our search to kind of make that user experience a little bit better. But yeah, Michael, if you wanted to also chat about the marketplace side of things in there, feel free to connect and we can chat.
That would be great. I guess the future is also like a prompt-based system where people more ask it for products and then it returns and it actually has a conversation with you. So that's kind of the future, I guess, of marketplaces and where. But like it's to start up, you have to design the system. You have to get information in the database. You have to know about products. So yeah, and really the way I describe it is a business in a box because it manages. I've used other platforms like Palantir where they actually manage like sourcing from different parts of the planet, like different components, and they're able to manage logistics. So it's not just sort of the sales, it's more actually making the product and then getting the product delivered. So the whole system. So yeah, that'd be great. I really enjoy that. Thank you so much.
Thank you all once again for being here, for pitching, for being a guest speaker. I know that the technical and career insights that you guys have and that you guys are sharing are completely invaluable as our bootcamp graduates start their careers. So for those of you in the audience who are not yet partners, like I said earlier, we have several opportunities to partner with us, anything from speaking at events to hiring talent. So please send me any questions that you guys have. My email is up on the slide right now. I see some LinkedIn's rolling into the chat. So if you guys want to use those resources, please go ahead and copy those now. Tip for our job seekers, send a message with your LinkedIn request just so that people know who you are and what you're doing. But if that is all from you guys and you guys don't have any more questions, we can go ahead and wrap up there. Thank Thank you all for joining us today this evening. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and we will see you all very soon. Great job, everybody.